There's an agreement that's been reached, which has so far eluded the Honduran situation, and I think that's a good step and it's positive. Everybody seems to be happy about it. Both parties, the rest of Latin America, but Honduras has been very unpredictable, and there's still a long way to go to implement this agreement, and it requires that everybody does their part and adheres to the terms of the agreement. And there's still a lot of passion, there's a lot of mistrust, there's a lot of bitterness. So it's too soon to know whether this is all going to work out. And I think we've learned one thing about this situation is that you should be cautious in looking at the Honduran situation. But I think it is a positive step. I think the Obama administration took some time before it became fully engaged, but I think it realized that the clock was running out, the elections were approaching, agreement wasn't happening. I think the mission was made with Tom Shannon, the Assistant Secretary who was the Hemisphere Affairs, his Principal Deputy, Craig Kelly, and Dan Restrepo from the National Security Council, three senior officials who communicated, I think, to the Hondurans that whatever they may have heard from Washington, this is the message from the Obama administration, that we want to help Honduras. We're going to do all we can to make sure that these elections that take place are credible, are fair, but there needs to be an agreement. Zelaya is the legitimate president. He needs to return for a time. And if he doesn't, then Honduras is really going to face some real problems, and the people who will get hurt the most are the poorest Hondurans. So I think that was the message. And the second message is that there will be strong guarantees that this agreement by the international community, that Zelaya will basically adhere to the terms of the agreement, and that he's not going to try to continue his power grab or other things that were really made a lot of Hondurans pretty nervous and apprehensive. So I think that was the message, and I think that's what caused the government to be flexible in this case and to accept the agreement. I think the main lesson from this so far, which hopefully the Obama administration thinks about, is that being supportive of multilateral efforts, regional efforts, doesn't mean that it has to sit on the sidelines when there are these critical situations. That there's no contradiction in being involved and engaged, and also being a good partner with Latin Americans. And I think in the Honduran situation for a while, they made certain pronouncements and certain declarations which seemed to be on the right track, but then there was little follow-through, and follow-through makes a big difference. And I think at the end they realized that the time was running out, so they needed to follow through. And I think in other situations that is the main lesson, that really you could be both multilateral, but also be a leader. And especially in cases like Honduras, where the United States is just such a critical player. And hopefully that will be a lesson that they can apply to other situations that they'll have to deal with in the region.